So you want to own an ice cream truck. Most people think owning one means driving slow loops through a sunny neighborhood, cranking that jingle, and pocketing cash all summer long. No landlord, no dining room, no 70-hour weeks standing over a fryer. That part is roughly true. Except, before any of that, you need to understand something the mobile dessert industry almost never tells aspiring owners. Roughly 60% of food trucks fail within their first year, a failure rate that tracks closely with what the Bureau of Labor Statistics finds among full-service restaurants, the exact business model the ice cream truck was supposed to let you escape. That number is not a rumor. That number is the starting line. So let us talk about what it actually costs to get a truck on the road. The vehicle itself is the anchor expense, and the range is wide. A used, already outfitted ice cream truck typically runs $15,000 to $20,000, while a new, custom-fitted build can run over $60,000. If you'd rather not own the vehicle outright, leasing an ice cream truck typically runs $1,500 to $2,000 a month, though some lighter operators report monthly lease rates closer to $400 to $800, depending on the size and age of the rig. Then come the freezers and the machines. You'll need commercial, bolted-down refrigeration units, and if you're running soft serve on top of novelties, a soft serve machine alone costs anywhere from $1,500 used to $8,000 brand new. Add your initial product order. Dakona's Guide to New Operators puts the minimum frozen inventory float at around $300 to $500 just to load the truck for opening week. Then stack on licensing, health department permits, a commissary or storage agreement, insurance, a card-reading POS system, and a working capital cushion to survive the slow weeks before word of mouth kicks in. Put it all together, and total startup costs for a typical ice cream truck operation land somewhere between $25,000 and $100,000, with financing platforms quoting a broader range of $30,000 to $175,000 once you're comparing lean used truck setups against fully custom builds. Not a small check, but compared to the six-figure build-out of a brick-and-mortar shop, it is practically a rounding error. So the question becomes obvious: why would anyone bother with a $60,000 rolling freezer, gas prices, permit renewals, and a jingle that will live in your head forever when the failure math sounds this brutal? Here's the part that catches almost every first-time owner off guard. This business is not actually competing on the same terms as a restaurant. A restaurant is locked into a 5-year lease and a fixed square footage of rent it must cover every single month, rain or shine, whether or not customers show up. A truck is not. Food trucks carry lower overhead, require less capital, and can physically relocate to wherever demand actually is. A restaurant stuck with a bad location has no such option. That mobility is not a lifestyle perk, it is the entire business model. And the margins reflect it. Ice cream and dessert trucks typically run gross profit margins in the 60 to 75% range, well above what a full-menu restaurant carries once you account for skilled kitchen labor and food waste. You have almost no labor cost if you're driving solo. You have no dining room to heat, cool, or clean. Every dollar of throughput above your fixed daily costs, fuel, commissary fee, the ice cream itself, drops almost straight to your pocket. That is operating leverage, and it is why a truck that grosses a fraction of a restaurant's revenue can still out-earn it on a per-owner-hour basis. Now, before you picture yourself debt-free by August, let's sit with the failure numbers honestly, because there are several floating around and they don't all agree. Multiple food truck trade sources put the first-year failure rate at around 60%. You'll also see a figure as high as 80% circulating on social media and truck builder marketing pages. That number is considered an overstatement by most industry analysts, since no reliable underlying data has ever been produced to support it. For comparison, the National Restaurant Association pegs first-year restaurant failure at roughly 30%, meaning counterintuitively, food trucks are cited as failing at double the rate of the businesses they're supposed to be the easy alternative to, at least in year one. So why do so many trucks fold? The pattern repeats across nearly every source. Underestimating true startup and operating costs is consistently cited as the single biggest killer, followed by poor location selection, insufficient working capital to survive the slow season, and simple lack of business and financial management experience. Add regulatory friction, health code and permit violations that can trigger fines from $250 up to $10,000, with some jurisdictions revoking a permit on the first offense. You can see how a first-time owner who bought the truck but skipped the spreadsheet ends up out of business by October. So let's run the actual numbers on two realistic versions of your ice cream truck. Option 1, the lean, single-truck seasonal operator. You buy used, spend around $20,000 on the truck and another $5,000 on freezers, a soft serve unit, permits, and opening inventory. Call it $25,000 all in. You run neighborhoods and local parks during a roughly 5-month peak season, pulling in daily sales in the $200 to $300 range that's typical during peak months. Across 120 operating days, that's gross revenue of roughly $30,000 to $36,000, plus another handful of private birthday parties and school events tacked on top, pushing total annual revenue to near $45,000. At a 65% margin after ice cream, fuel, and commissary fees, you're clearing something in the neighborhood of $25,000 to $30,000 in owner profit for a part-time seasonal operation, which notably sits right in line with the $24,000 to $72,000 net profit range reported for owner-operated trucks. Option 2, the scaled multi-truck operator running events year-round. Now you're running 2 or 3 trucks, hiring drivers for the units you're not personally staffing, and layering in corporate catering, weddings, and festival bookings alongside neighborhood routes. Established operators running at least 12 events a month across their fleet landed average annual revenue near $346,000. After food costs, driver wages, fuel across multiple vehicles, and insurance, net profit for that scale of operation sits at the top of that same $24,000 to $72,000 owner profit band per truck, meaning a well-run 3-truck fleet can plausibly clear $100,000 to $140,000 in combined annual profit. And the best performers, the operators who've locked in recurring corporate contracts and premium festival slots, are reported pushing well past that ceiling into $200,000 plus territory. So here's the honest picture. 6 out of every 10 new owners in this business will not see a second season, but the 4 that do are operating inside a structure that a traditional restaurant can only dream about. Near zero fixed rent, margins in the 60 to 75% range, and the freedom to drive toward demand instead of waiting for it to walk through a door. The same jingle that gets mocked as a novelty sound is, for the operators who survive that first brutal year, quietly funding a 6-figure business. Not bad for an industry that most people still price out at the level of a $5 bill. If you found this video interesting, please like and subscribe.